Can you turn an old dresser into the Serena and Lily dupe of your dreams? We'll see you in today's video. I've been drooling over the Serena and Lily dresser for some time. I think it's just so beautiful, but it's really out of the budget. So I've got this $100 dresser off Facebook Marketplace, and I think we can make it work. I was so inspired by Courtney over at Steel Birch Studios. I'm going to link her and all her videos below. She's really a master of this finish and has been sharing it with the world for some time. But today you're going to get to see me do this for the very first time. And so I'm probably going to make some mistakes and do some crazy stuff and go off track a bit. But, just buckle up and we're going to make this happen. For the look I'm going for, I really need to change up the hole placement and order some ring pulls off Amazon. So I'll do that. And then I'm going to fill these holes. I had some chopsticks on hand instead of, I think most people use dowel rods. And so I had these, I just shoved them in there. And then I also had to use a little bit of wood filler to get it nice and smooth, but that worked pretty good. And obviously it's a good reason to order Chinese food again because I need to stock up. I had to do some sanding with some 320 grit to get it nice and smooth. And then, I had to do a lot of sanding anyway because there were scratches and things like that. I didn't catch all that on camera, but you can see the top of this thing really got sanded. Going in with some Kills primer, and you can see I just wrapped my roller thing in a bread bag, or that, I think in this case it was a hot dog bag. And so I'm going to go in with some primer. I wish I had a great primer recommendation for you guys, but I just keep finding flaws with all of them. So let me know in the comments if you have a favorite primer for all surfaces, because I would love to have a favorite primer too. I did have to do 2 coats of it.
Matches that red line. It's up to 3, so it matches that red line.
Okay, ready? Yeah. I'm gonna push a little. Wow. And then how do we get out? I did put this on Instagram and just kind of drew some lines over the Benjamin Moore paint color that I already had on hand to see if it was a look that I was okay with. And so I figured that was going to work. Okay, it is day 2. I came back out here late last night. I didn't film it, but I put on another coat of Benjamin Moore Advanced. So far this has 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of Benjamin Moore Advanced. So it is nice and bright white. And then now we're just going to mix up the glaze. I was so excited to be able to use some of the paint that I already had on hand. This is HC 174 Lancaster Whitewash by Benjamin Moore. It's a really nice creamy neutral color, and I think it's going to work great for this. But you could use any cream you want, just whatever you have on hand, or if you want to do this exact thing. Also, you don't have to get it from Benjamin Moore. You could go up to Home Depot or Lowe's and they'll make this color up for you in one of their paints. You'll just probably want to go with a semi-gloss or a satin enamel type of paint, something that's got a little bit more durability. I'm going to be using a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's 1 part paint and then 1 part of the glaze. Like I said, I'm going off track here. I'm doing things kind of my way because I don't have all the products that Courtney from Steel Birch Studio uses, so I'm just using what I have on hand. here's the moment of truth, and this is how I'm going to do it because, again, this is stuff I have, and also I'm just going to try it on the dresser drawer first to make sure it's going to work for me before I try it on a big area. It's got a nice open work time with the glaze in there. It dries a lot slower. You want to have some things on hand like a damp microfiber cloth or a towel or some paper towels near you. You'll get a thin layer, just like you would when you're painting, a thin layer of paint on there, and then I smoothed it all out in one direction with my paintbrush. I'm using a 1.5-inch paintbrush. I really like those lately. And then I go in with my silicone dog brush, my dog grooming brush, and I just go across. And then for a minute here, I think, oh, I'll go that way. That was wrong. It looked weird. It was way too intense. So with my long open work time, I rebrushed it with the glaze. You know, it's drying slow, so I don't have to worry about that too much. And then I decided to just go across with the silicone dog grooming brush. And then I went up and down with this hairbrush. And that was what I was liking the look of the most. I tried a couple of other things off camera, but that was the combo that gave me what I thought was the most similar to the Serena and Lily dupe. But like I said, you know, Courtney over at Steel Birch Studios, she's got some other tricks up her sleeve. So I'd love for you guys to be able to give her a little bit of love. Tell her Shannon sent you. By this point, I was feeling like I really had the hang of the technique, but it was trickier around the edges and, you know, deciding which direction should go, what direction. I know they're all technically, you know, it's like got up and down lines and stuff, but so I kind of switched over to almost only using this little brush over on the smaller parts because my silicone brush, it would just like wipe away big chunks because it was so big. If I had it like cut or saw it in half or something, it was smaller, I could get into the grooves, but this one was just a little bit better for me getting in those like hard to reach areas and the recessed areas that were really tricky. When it came time to do the top, I have like this trim area around the edge of the top of the dresser, right, where you can see it's got like the line. And so I decided to go long ways and just treat it a little bit like two separate pieces of, you know, like fabric, I guess. And so that's what I tried to do. I didn't tape anything off, guys. You know me. I'm not going to be taping anything off. And so I just tried my best to kind of smooth it out. And honestly, it looked really good. It's a tricky finish. I'm not going to say it's not tricky, but it is forgiving. It's a forgiving finish if you do a light color. Now, if you go in with like a blue or a gray color, it's like a little bit darker, then you might not have as forgiving of a time as I had. But with my colors being so light, it was really forgiving, and I think it hid a lot of the mistakes and areas that weren't perfect for me. And speaking of that, I did have some boogers. I tried as best as I could to wipe away any boogers off of my brush as I went with my microfiber cloth. But there were some at the end, just where it kind of built up as you were scratching. And so I sanded those with 320 grit. And then I waited for everything to fully dry. That did take an entire day for it to fully dry. So I just left it after I was finished that day, left it overnight, came out the next day and clear coated it with some water-based top coat. Cute. I'm gonna burst. I'm so excited. It's so pretty. I can't wait to do the before and after here. Let's take a look at the before. It's a really cool Ming dresser vintage. And here's the after. It's Serena and Lily. It is so Serena and Lily. I'm so happy I did this. So proud of this finish. I don't know if it's like my main style or anything like that. It'll be a while before I do something like this again, but I'm so happy I did something different and tried something new, and I hope you guys are inspired. And again, a big thanks to Courtney over at Steel Birch Studios. See you next time. Bye.